Howdy, this is Jeremy with Can I Play That? And I'm going to be doing the run through here on my journey with employment and disability with Can I Play That playing a big part in kind of mentally dealing with that. About, 20 years ago we tried to get disability and found out that my vision was just a little too good. So with that being kind of a good thing in a way, because it meant, okay, I can see, which is nice. The right eye is blind, but the left eye had impaired retina, and never could drive. I was never part of the formula there. But it definitely got in the way of getting work and just getting to and from interviews, job sites, things like that. And I really killed my confidence for a long time, and went through taking care of my mother when she was passing from cancer. And when she finally passed in '09, it was pretty scary, beyond just seeing everything unfold. What to do, on a cynical level, not being able to get from A to B makes a lot of things harder. And she was, not only my mother, but she was, primary ride and stuff like that. So, it made things a lot tougher, and it was pretty destructive for me, not being able to drive and not being able to feel like I deserved a job a lot of the times. And I'd put in applications and just get discouraged, and I would do things like flex jobs and anything to do remote work, and nothing would work. And it would just be constantly, okay, hey, you're draining savings, you're draining savings, you're draining savings, and nothing felt like it was clicking. And I felt really alone in this journey, because when you're disabled, it's easy to become very isolated. And especially when you can't drive, it's even easier to get isolated. That's not very good. Now, luckily, it's an online world, so it's not as bad as it could be, but still does get pretty bad. And Josh sent me an email probably 10 years ago now, and it was around the Xbox One launch, because the first game I ever covered for the site back in this Dagger system was Dead Rising 3, and fortunately, by this point, I'd had folks moved in after Mom passed away and needed a place to stay. So I was able to get to GameStop to get the game that he had called and set up a gift card for, slash, I think was that a gift card for the game, or is it somehow he paid for it? And I thought, wow, that's really interesting, and it was pretty inspiring, because I had never thought of that kind of problem solving before, because we didn't have any real contacts for review copies back then. And I'll never forget that. It's a weird thing to remember, but it's always stuck with me, with how much perseverance Josh has. It's pretty inspiring, and it's helped me a lot, because I can always go, okay, I can't do this, I can't solve the problem this way, but I can solve it this way. And to try to find that back road to find a solution to something. And that's come in handy, in the years since, in weird ways, like taking care of my cats and all, and then, helping friends who feel low and feel like they're in rough spots. And I go, well, I've been there, and luckily things worked out. And even with pro wrestling, I can cite some of this stuff and go, hey, things can get rough, but they can also get better. And with the website now, it's been this huge help. Over the last few years, it's really grown, and it's allowed for more stability financially, like a lot more. When you're working in retail, as I am now, just Ubers are about $5,000 to $6,000 a year on top of a retail salary, which ain't exactly a lot. So it really gets to a point of, okay, this is pretty tough. And with the website, it really cuts into that a lot, especially a couple of years ago when I was working from home a couple days a week. I was finally able to save money on my own, which is really cool. I think I only had to use money for a medical thing that kind of came up out of nowhere, and then last year's medical stuff, and bleeding into this year is kind of totally just wiped everything out this year. But this site has been a pretty cool part of my life, something I can always cite. And something I brought up to people when I'm on the sales floor, and I can talk to people and tell them, hey, if you need help with, I can see folks, if they have arthritis, and I've had customers who have visible hand deformities, and I can bring up, hey, we don't sell it here, but you can get the accessibility controller for Xbox and PC, and now Sony has one for the PlayStation as well. And I like having that in my mind, thinking about accessibility more, and not thinking of it as something just for disabled people. And regardless of what the disability is, it helps other people. If you're in a racing game, I'm covering Forza now, it's one reason on my mind, but that game series, being a pioneer of racing lines, helped me a lot with even just honestly with geometry in school. I can just go, oh yeah, here's, I can apply the racing line mentality to a geometry problem and go, oh yeah, think of it like this, think of it like that. But it's more visual. I could do that in high school with Crazy Taxi, and it was a similar principle. And then later on, it became even better with that racing. I could go a little further with it and kind of put that into a visual mindset. But being a part of this site has helped a lot, and it's something that's allowed me to grow as a writer and kind of focus on tightening up things and making sure that everything flows better. And that's helped everywhere. Whether I'm writing for wrestling magazines or doing any other kind of writing, even if I'm just summarizing something for a write-up for the sales floor, kind of going through, I can, instead of going with long explanations, there's time for that at the end, but I just try to keep the body of everything a lot more concise. But I've definitely been changed for the better with my time with the website, and it's been a really cool decade. I'm looking forward to seeing where the next one takes us. It's definitely a cool journey, and it's not something I expected. It just goes to show that sometimes in life the unexpected can be trying, and it can also be very rewarding as well, because we can get so much out of bonds you form and friendships that you build, and you can't always predict that. It's kind of cool. Sometimes it's fun. I remember when I was recovering from eye surgery, I was going through a phase where I could not help but feel like everything had to have a certain structure to it. It was kind of weird. And getting out of that mindset, which was also kind of cutting down the isolation of things, really helped. And now whenever I kind of feel that old time, I kind of go back and I reminisce, and I'm like, well, that was an interesting time, but not really a great time. Beyond giving me a lot more time to spend with the cats, which wound up being pretty cool, and they all made it to over 20, which is kind of weird. But I look forward to seeing where we're going to go with the revamped site, and seeing how we're going to grow and make everything better, for us, viewers, readers, and partners as well. Have a great day. Bye.